long before the thunder of dinosaurs, before leaves rustled in forest winds. There was a world forgotten by time, a younger Earth, adrift in the dark sea of space, its continents unshaped, its skies unspoiled. The land lay silent, untouched by foot or feather. But change was stirring. Journey back approximately 430 million years to the Silurian period. A pivotal era when life began its conquest of terrestrial realms. The landscape was stark and largely barren, but along the moist coastal fringes, pioneering plants like Cooksonia made their appearance. Notably, the terrestrial realm of the Silurian was devoid of animal life as we know it. The silence was profound, unbroken by the sounds of insects or birds. While some arthropods, like primitive arachnids, and myriapods, had ventured onto land, the air remained silent as the vast array of sound-producing animals had yet to evolve. Cooksonia, among the earliest known vascular plants, stood merely centimeters tall. These simple plants lacked leaves and roots, consisting of thin stems that branched dichotomously, ending in sporangia for spore dispersal. Their vascular tissues represented a significant evolutionary advancement, facilitating water and nutrient transport, crucial for survival on land. Thriving in damp environments, Cooksonia and its contemporaries began forming the planet's initial terrestrial ecosystems. Their presence marked the beginning of a transformative era, setting the foundation for the lush forests that would blanket the Earth in ages to come. Among the most unusual and towering life forms of the Silurian landscape was Prototaxites, an ancient organism that defied classification for decades. First discovered as fossilized trunk-like structures, these giants stood up to 8 meters tall and nearly a meter wide. But they weren't trees. In fact, trees wouldn't exist for millions of years. Prototaxites was likely a type of fungus, perhaps the largest organism on land at the time. It thrived in the damp early ecosystems, feeding off decaying matter and helping to shape one of Earth's very first terrestrial environments. Accompanying these pioneering plants were some of the first terrestrial arthropods, including early arachnids and centipedes. Their presence indicates the beginnings of complex ecosystems on land, setting the foundation for future terrestrial life. The seas of the Silurian were warm and rich with life. Coral-like structures formed the planet's first reefs, built by stromatoporoids and tabulate corals. These underwater fortresses teemed with bizarre and beautiful creatures, including some of the earliest vertebrates. But the Silurian seas witnessed a revolutionary development in the vertebrate story. Jawless fish, known as agnathons, clad in bony armor, continued to diversify, grubbing in the sediment. But alongside them, a monumental evolutionary leap occurred. The appearance of jawed fish, or gnathostomes. Jaws. This innovation opened up entirely new ways of feeding and interacting with the environment. Early groups included the heavily armored placoderms and the acanthodians, often called spiny sharks. Though distinct from modern sharks, this development set the stage for the incredible diversification of fish in the next period. The Devonian, often called the Age of Fishes. Jaws changed everything. Some had paired fins, an evolutionary innovation that would one day lead to the limbs of all land animals. They were slow, cautious swimmers. But in their silence, they carried within them the blueprint of a future vertebrate world. One that would eventually walk, fly, and conquer land. But the Silurian seas weren't just peaceful sanctuaries. They were hunting grounds. Enter the Eurypterids, better known as sea scorpions. Some reached lengths of over 2 meters, making them the top predators of their time. Some were small, no larger than a modern crab. Others, like Pterygotus, could reach lengths of over 2 meters, making them the largest arthropods to ever live. Equipped with powerful pincers, sharp spines, and keen eyesight, they were agile hunters in an ocean world without jaws. They patrolled the seafloor and shallow coastal waters, feeding on trilobites, soft-bodied prey, and perhaps even one another. Despite their name, sea scorpions weren't true scorpions, but distant relatives, part of a long and complex arthropod family tree. They represent a time when invertebrates ruled the seas, long before the rise of sharks or marine reptiles. The Silurian was their arena, and for a time, they were its unmatched champions. The Silurian period was a bridge between extinction and evolution, a time of rebuilding, experimentation, and quiet triumphs. It set the stage for the verdant forests, flying insects and towering dinosaurs that would come millions of years later. This was the Silurian, when life stepped out of the ocean and the world was forever changed. Thanks for joining us on this journey back to the Silurian.